discussing today. 3A. Are you changing? I'm sorry, I'm looking at 3A here. I don't see any policies listed. We have no new policies up for discussion except for 249. We're going to talk about. Okay. Just want to make sure I had that right. So I'm going to jump down to 3B policies, 323, 351, and 249. They're going for first reading now. These are the ones that they made the changes to the policies to remove references to JOC specifically and replace those with more generic terms for vaping products. Yes. Yes. Am I?
Nope, we're good. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I'm using the online version, not the printed out copy here. We can go through the printed copy if that's easier. Does anybody have any questions about 323, 351, or 249?
These are all the PSBA recommended changes.
To remove the language around the term JOC.
Yeah, I know, we did this same exact thing
Yep.
in Laker Town, so.
Yep, and these are actually, this is first reading. We talked about this at the last policy meeting. So if there's nothing further on those, 249 is one that we had talked about at the previous meeting as well. That's one where we had made the suggestion to remove the reference of bullying from being specific to students committing bullying and just eliminating that. Since that recommendation, PSBA has made some additional recommendations to language changes for that policy. Essentially, there are language changes around discrimination being replaced with discrimination or harassment. That's essentially the only other change that's being presented here. Anywhere that it was referencing discrimination for Title IX is now going to say discrimination or harassment or discrimination/harassment. So there's two options that we're facing here. One is, do we just keep this as first reading and add those additional changes into it, or do we hold it 1 month so that it'll be at next policy meeting, it'll be first reading?
I don't want to rain on our getting stuff done parade, but I know.
It's not going to change anything with the regs.
No.
So I don't see a reason why we couldn't wait.
But what, yeah, and I agree, but this is the other reason why. If you were paying attention to what happened down in Great Valley a little while ago with the fake TikTok accounts and the cyberbullying and stuff, I guess there's court cases still waiting for those. So bullying that happens off campus and on digital platforms and stuff is still kind of up in the air.
And
so
it may change. We may be revisiting this as a result.
That's why I'm saying I don't think there's any rush to get it done, because I think there's going to be some more changes coming to this.
Yeah, so Dr. Herrera, I would say, let's just hold this one. We'll make those changes that are recommended from PSBA. And then we'll address it as first reading during the next policy committee meeting. We'll just hold it off 1 month.
Okay.
And then the ones that are at second reading are ready for approval and will be on the agenda at the meeting tonight are 121, 715, which is being deleted, 805, 805.2, which is a net new, and 807. So they're all going to be up for approval tonight.
Can you just give us the headlines on those if you have them up?
I will try.
Just as a reminder, because we don't have.
Absolutely. So 121 is field trips.
Okay.
We added the language for the international travel. 715 was the one that we're gonna delete. It references use of fax machines, which
Oh, yeah.
we really don't need anymore.
Mhm.
805 was emergency preparedness and response. Again, there was language updates throughout for required emergency drills, security drills, school safety. There was some definitions added for school safety, for school security drills and school safety and security assessment. Those are the major changes for that one.
Okay.
805.2 is a new policy that was added for PA school code for Act 44, Act 67. It's the required new sections that are required as a result of that code. So it specifies who the personnel are, right? And the requirements of the personnel and what their responsibilities are.
Okay.
807 was opening exercises, flag displays. I think we just, if I'm correct on this one, we just adopted the SBA code language for that one.
Going back to 800
800.
there for the school security personnel, is that going to change any with the new requirements that the governor has stipulated on the budget? You think there's going to be any additions that PSBA might be throwing? I mean, Mike, do you have any
I
idea?
don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't think
We
there are
haven't heard
any.
anything.
We haven't heard any at this
Okay.
point, but it's possible.
Okay,
The IU will usually send out updates if we need to
yeah.
review our policies as well.
I just wondered if we had heard anything, or if there's nothing there.
All right.
I haven't.
Okay.
That's it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Questions? Anything you want to discuss further? Do we want to read any of the policies?
Mr. O'Donnell, if I may,
Please.
one of the things that we also discussed moving forward is to include, when available, the regulations in administrative content or executive content. We met with Tracy Cram, so you have access on how they will be implemented, et cetera. We're not going to approve them as a board, but you'll be made aware of them. And I think overall, we're looking to use the board docs more to put more information on that for everyone, which I think is a value and a benefit.
Yeah, the benefit there is, right, we discuss and approve the policy, and oftentimes those policies may be left up to interpretation. So reviewing the associated ARs with them, right, the administrative regulations, we understand how they're being interpreted and being implemented. And then we can, so I try to make a habit of reading the regs when they're available, just so I can understand, what changes to the policy are going to have to those regs.
I finally found someone who loves policies and regulations.
It's perfect.
Thank you.
It's perfect. Thank you,
A
David.
lot of times I'll read them in reverse order. I'll read the,
And I also add
ARs
Dr.
first,
Friedman
and
to
then
the
I go
list
back
too,
to-
because I know he's got a
Yeah.
passion.
Policy, AR,
Yep.
policy.
Well, takes a little load off your mind when you know somebody like that is, engineers always have kind of, that very,
We love dry.
I'm not gonna say the
Language.
word, but yeah. Mhm.
Awesome.
Okay,
And our next meeting is going to be on September 19th. So if nobody has anything else, we can jump right into the program.
Thank you.
excellent. Thank you, David.
Ms.
Wait.
Lundgren texted, she's on her way. I don't know if she texted anybody else, but do you want to wait for her or?
She is on her way?
Yes, she-
Well, she's coming over from the high school. I'm sure she'll be here in a couple minutes. Does anybody, if you want to get up and get some food or something while we wait?
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
I can stall a little bit too. We did, when we met to discuss policy this week, we talked about the cadence for how often we're going to do this.
or whatever.
Yeah, 3 to 4
3 to 4.
policies
Scoping
every,
out.
just to make sure we're
Totally,
constantly
yeah.
recycling. So this was a light month,
Yeah,
but we're going to shoot for 3 to 4 policies just to make sure everything's current.
And
instead
I
of
don't know,
updating.
I don't know how you do it at Quakertown, but our policy meetings at Palisades, they put the policy so we can see the whole thing, and I think we've done that. I think we do that here too.
So there's, I think some of that is a limitation of the version of Board Docs that we have here.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that correct? Yeah. So because we're using a lower licensed version here, it's cheaper, we don't have all the functionality.
Okay.
Mrs. Crandall's magic with,
Not my job.
with the lighter version, but it's.
All right, I can't remember what was first on the agenda. All right. We'll be getting an update as well as looking at, so everyone has this?
Yep, I printed copies for everybody.
Okay, perfect. So it's the one, and then on the back two, just for everyone, we can go through some of this, but there's information on the withdrawals as well. But just note that obviously enrollment's changing daily, so before we're starting the school year, so there's gonna be some changes. I know Stacy will speak to some of that too as well.
So just an update, as of the 13th, there were 378 students placed, 50 of whom declined their seat, which leaves us with 328 filled. All the formatting is still the same as the reports I presented to you throughout the spring. So you see that breakdown by district. You may want to take a look at the new enrollment information by program, because we are seeing a significant drop in the wait list because of the opening of the second law session. So you'll notice that was at 28 students in the spring, and we're now down to 5. So Morgan has offers out to all 5 students who are on the wait list and is waiting to hear if they're going to be placed, if they accept, et cetera. So there's still some students on the wait list, but that the law program had a significant impact, taking 23 kids off the wait list.
So it was at 10 here. You're saying it's at 5 now?
No, it was there were no seats, and it was at 28 on the
Oh,
wait list.
28, okay.
But we added a second section. We have 10 seats available in that second section, and we had 5 remaining on the wait list that were offered. So those could have
That
been
could be down to
students.
5, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We've provided some of the historical, we've provided the total enrollment snapshot by district and by grade. The historical placement data has been updated. And the most recent information is on page 5 and 6, and that's the summary of summer withdrawals. And this is a preliminary look. I think it's important for us to be able to dig down, because to me, there is a distinct difference between students who applied and declined their seat, and then students who applied, accepted their seat, we placed, and then withdrew. And some of that is left in a gray area based on the report and the reasons that I got from Morgan. And that's what I want to work with Morgan, Jen, and our student services assistant to really drill down those reasons and the timing. Because we can do things to impact students who accept, are placed, and withdraw. Maybe we're not doing enough onboarding. Maybe there's not enough reach out to keep them excited and interested. Maybe we need to consider like a new student orientation event in the spring. There are things we can do to target each of those groups once we know how many students fall into each of those groups. So you'll see that there is some gray area. There are some that are very specific, but there are some numbers that we need to drill down into. Especially the ones, that were offered first choice but declined. Were they students on a wait list and then offered first choice? These are all things we need to look into. So that'll be a project.
I think it's really important to get that data and study it to see, to make sure it's not something we're doing wrong, or not
Right.
something Quakertown's doing wrong, or Penn Ridge or Palisades. We need to be able to look at and not see these as failures, but see these as, areas where we can make improvements.
And realize what is in our locus of control and what is not.
Yeah.
A student choosing to stay at the high school because they are really committed to their music program is not in our control.
Right.
But are there reasons that we're not gathering with as much depth as we should be, that will impact how we do things? But this is at least where we stand with the withdrawals as of yesterday.
Okay.
Well, and looking at where they're from too. So,
Yes.
me seeing that Quakertown has 40, Penn Ridge has 30, and Palisades has 9, but Quakertown has less students enrolled than Penn Ridge. So I'm wondering, is there something maybe that Quakertown could be doing better as well? You know what I mean? So these are things we need to work on from all angles. We need to get all the data, and what you have here for reasons isn't a complete list, correct? You don't have all the information.
Well, this
all
is
of
the
this?
complete list, but it's not, for me, if I'm really going to do like a root cause analysis of withdrawal, I want to understand all of these offered first choice but declined in April, right? Was that a student who was initially accepted in the first round and then declined? Or was it a student who was on the wait list and maybe found courses that they were excited
I
about
got it,
and
yeah.
were offered their first
Right.
choice
Mhm.
off the wait list and didn't want to switch? That's an important difference, but we're not asking that question. And I think now that we're seeing the output of the data, we need to go back and look at the input. We need to look back at the questions we're asking, the information we're getting, and how we're tracking it.
Including like, even just like the follow-up with after, if it, first of all, I think it's really difficult because there's a lot of entities, we have 3 school districts and the tech trying to work together. And I think that's just difficult in it of itself to have like a really good system, which I know we're going to be trying to work on that when we go through the articles, and hopefully we can get to a good place. Because I was even saying, like, even personally for my child, if he did get the first and second choice, I would have wanted to be like, okay, what are the other programs that maybe have open spots? That even when I talk to people in our community, they would say like, my child didn't get in, but they were kind of just like, oh, just like it's competitive. So, but not like to even like push. It was kind of like, okay, instead of not knowing. And I think if they knew, then they would be willing to like fight for a spot more. That was like the general consensus that I was getting from my community, as well as I feel like it still goes back to the part of there was no like specific reason why they didn't get in. So I still think having like that concrete rubric of what's, this is why you didn't get in, here's this thing, but we have these other programs if you want to get in too. I feel like that would be helpful. But sorry, I know I'm rambling on a lot, but one of my biggest questions too is when it says like withdrawal per sending school administration. Again, it's not necessarily tech, but it's sending schools, like we don't know all those answers specifically. So how do we follow up with that? We don't know the specific reasons. And I guess I'm not understanding why admin would withdraw a student. I don't know what that looks like from a sending school.
And that's a very good question. I got this information from our school counselor. I don't know what information was communicated in that email, but I definitely need to ask. Maybe it was a student who was credit deficient. And that was the reason. But there needs to be more specificity in the question so that we understand it's not necessarily a gatekeeper. There's a reason.
Right.
Would it be when you're talking admin, would it be the counselors or someone in the higher administration?
So in some cases, it was identified as the assistant supers, because that's who Morgan reaches out to when she has an opening to confirm that she can contact the student. In some cases, it's the IEP team or the special ed coordinator saying, okay, we had a second IEP meeting, the student didn't meet their goals, we're gonna withdraw and hold for a
That should
year.
be- Yeah, we should
So,
know that.
You know,
Yeah.
drilling those down.
Yeah. Mhm.
And some people, there are some that people specified that, there are others that people didn't. So asking those questions is gonna shift these numbers dramatically.
Yeah. Now, do we know out of all, because this is quite an extensive list, do we know, these aren't all ninth graders?
No, these are first year students who withdrew.
But they could be anywhere from 9th to 12th.
Correct,
They're not just ninth.
correct.
graders.
They're all first year.
Okay.
And I'm not saying we have to follow up on all of them, like the 7 that moved. Pretty sure
That's,
they have but it is probably good to follow up. But again, we're kind of in this weird gray area where the sending districts are kind of the ones picking the students. So who does the follow-up at that point?
Right.
And then if it's the sending districts that are doing the follow-up, are they gonna share all that information back to us so we can diagnose it and say, is it something we could improve here?
Mhm.
So.
and from my understanding, Morgan contacts the assistant supers first, says, I have these openings, I'd like to place this child off the waiting list, and then she makes the contact.
So all these spots that were offered and declined, were they then filled with people from the waiting list?
Or they might have been another student who, let's say this student, let's take the one who declined in April.
Mhm.
They declined in April. The person who declined in June could be the person who was selected to fill that seat, right? So there's
Yeah.
it's like an onion. There are so many if this then that scenarios, and that's what I'm realizing as I go through this, because I was trying to put everything into silos.
Mhm.
There's no silo.
Yeah.
We need to make the silo and then track the data in the way that makes sense.
Were you given any, I know it's more, like Morgan reaches out, but were you given any specifics to that or this, how, like, to come up with this? Would the sending schools just say, student failed, and that was like one of the things? Or when it says like withdrawal from sending school administrator, that's what they would just give as their tagline, not like the reason why behind it?
That's what I would like to have a conversation with Morgan when she's back and say, how did you get this information and what was the reason given?
Right.
Because that is vague. The student failed.
Mhm.
That was very direct.
Right.
Student did not pass required classes and has to withdraw.
Mhm.
So,
Right, it's very cut dry.
Mhm.
Mhm.
so getting to as much of a cut and dry here or here.
So in looking at this placement data chart at the top of page 3, and you look at the percentage of students placed, and you see Quakertown's is significantly lower. Now, it could be that they have more applicants and more others, but also that Quakertown is the school that had 12 withdrawals by administration, where the other 2 districts didn't have any. Does that play into that overall percentage of placed number, why Quakertown's is so much significantly lower on that?
Let me make sure I understand your question. Okay, so there were 175 applications from Quakertown. 99 were placed, 36 were on a wait list, 40 were withdrawn. So those 40 would be captured in the chart we just went over. And again, understanding why those 40, are they a withdrawal where they were placed, or are they a decline offered and never accepted?
So I guess we need more answers before we can
I know.
come up with answers to
Yeah.
the next layer of questions.
Yes,
Going back to your onion.
yes. But it wasn't as simple as I had anticipated. When I got this information, I thought it would be like academics, social, move categories. And it proved to be less than easy to
So
easy to
is
work
this
with.
something that would be on the agenda for future assistant superintendents meetings or superintendent meetings, so we can share that information? I'm looking at both of you. I don't know which one would want that on their plate. Would this go to the assistant superintendent meetings or?
Or the principal meetings with the counselors,
I mean,
Yeah.
you could make an argument for all 3,
all 3
to be
together.
honest with you.
Yeah,
Because we all see it from a different lens.
Yeah.
Like the principals are probably the most hands-on. But, I mean, if it's a 9th grader, you probably wouldn't know the kid,
yeah.
but other grades, they would have a better idea. The assistant supers, work directly here with placement. And then superintendents, kind of oversee it, so we talked about this the other day, and I was thinking about this. I agree with you. I think we need more information.
What are the parents told? Who communicates this to the parents, whether they got in or the reason? So I know we put in roll track, we said your son or daughter was placed. If they weren't, it was because of not enough spots.
Mhm.
What communication goes out to parents to Ms. Blomgren's question on the reasons or follow-up, or is that done on an individual basis? Is there a group
During the summer, that's on an individual basis. It's a smaller number of kids and decisions have to be made very quickly because our counselors aren't in. So if a space becomes available, Morgan gets confirmation from the assistant supers to proceed with the offer, then she contacts that family directly so that we can get the process rolling. Schedules will need to be
And
changed.
what about
So
the withdrawals or that they are not eligible to attend for whatever reason? Who
the
makes those calls?
the not eligible, I do not believe Morgan makes those calls because she doesn't make that decision.
Or the withdrawals too. So if someone withdraws, like, we know career counseling and Dr. Friedman and myself are prioritizing that with career pathways. He has a wonderful program at Quakertown, the World of Work. We have with Meyer Briggs an opportunity to do really great things. So I guess if a parent or student withdraws without all the information, we know that in the past that's happened. We guaranteed that we made the phone calls to the parents. Sometimes a parent thought I wasn't able to go to college by coming to the tech school. You've been on all of those phone calls. And we know that parents, once students get into the tech school, the kids and the parents are so passionate about staying here. I just hate that to lose maybe kids that have the potential to benefit from being here through misinformation to slip through the cracks. So I'm posing that. I don't expect an answer. I like what Dr. Friedman says. Let's look at this through multiple layers and lenses. But I think the most important thing is too, we've got to look at it from that perspective, from the students. We've typically pushed back the enrollment process until February so that career counseling can get done, which is very important. That hurts us sometimes with the budget. 3 years ago, we added the 2 new sections. We got a lot of kids off the waiting list. And it was very, very successful. But now, you know, as that balance, that sweet spot is, you know, the earlier we get this information, I think the better we're going to be.
And I think that I would say, without a doubt, there's outreach being made on those questions that are vague. When a parent says, my child's changed their mind, could you tell me why a child's changed their mind? But when it's coming for academic reasons, or the family moved, or different things like that. So it's not happening with everyone, it's happening on the ones that we might be able to sway decisions or provide more information.
And that out of the 79 kids, that would be approximately how many kids?
I'd have to count, give me a second. I mean, I could count these numbers, but I think that it depends on which scenario they were. So do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can get a report from Morgan when she gets back of the context that she made. But again, we don't know if she's going to reach out to a student who declined for academic reasons, or the one who withdrew before the placement date necessarily. So we need to, again, drill down.
I think one other thing that could possibly help, I don't know what's being done now, but and I wouldn't count on teachers to do this over the summer, but if a teacher had like an onboarding email ready to go, and Morgan has access to those, so when somebody gets accepted, they get sent that email. You know what I mean? Like, we just got something from our middle school principal that was like, hey, you know, welcome to the middle school, kind of a nice little write-up about what's coming up in the coming year. That it would be good, since Morgan's here all year, to say, you know, that
She's not
okay.
here.
Well, since you're here all year, I
Yeah.
guess you can send it out then.
She has hours, we do send letters home to parents.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know
So we
what that
have
actual
sent,
process is.
letters home to parents.
Mhm.
So those do go out in the meantime.
Yeah,
The enroll track has been very helpful for us, because that allows us to be the gatekeeper, to even be able to track this. Minus that we would be really grabbing for straws. So that enroll track could get kids as early as first graders. And that's really what it's used for, to continually be in contact with parents and do that system. So we'll look at that. I don't believe last year we did not have these numbers.
The withdrawal numbers?
Yes,
No.
and so this is new to us. There was a big
This could
difference.
have been happening every year.
No, what, it did not happen last year with the, the withdrawal numbers, because we were tracking that. So otherwise, now that we're looking into this, to Stacy's point, then we have to determine why is it happening this year.
I know, that's why
I don't wanna speak for the other districts, but I would guess, just knowing them, they're gonna wanna know the names and have communication to find out the why, as opposed to the tech school finding out the why.
I understand that, but that's where I struggle, because I feel like in the tech realm, and you're waiting to fill the spots, and now we're at this point where essentially the sending schools did have that this year. And here we are with, not to point out Quakertown, but there's 2 spots available in ag tech, and there's still 2 kids on the waiting list for Quakertown. So that's where I struggle, where to me, it feels like it had more of a point, a lead point, and then with the support and having the meetings of that, I feel like that those spots would not be there, because this is like their baby. Tech is tech.
Well, I'm talking
We're sending-
about the
Oh, okay.
withdrawals. I'm talking about, you had kids apply, and then you had kids get accepted, and then you had kids decline, so us finding out, like districts finding out the why, as opposed to the tech school.
Well, no, and that's
Say-
fine. I think
saying-
the district should share the information though, because if it is something we
Right.
could improve here.
Right, I
Yeah.
think that's a growth opportunity.
Yep.
I just think districts would look at it as recruitment, right or wrong. That if someone declines, they might have gotten misinformation, they might have other reasons that, they might have changed their mind. But I think leaving it up to the districts to find out the why and then share that information collectively with the tech school, I think that's a great growth opportunity for both sides.
So it looks like everyone else did share that information.
This did come from the districts, didn't it, Stacy? The information on.
Yes,
what
that
the
came, that
withdrawal-
was,
But the Quakertown's the only one that just has that withdrawal per administration with
Right.
no reason. The other 2 districts don't have that. So I guess, I would just like a little bit more information in the withdrawal per administration reason to see, what is it?
Yeah, our,
Eligibility grades.
yeah, our
you know.
assistant superintendent is one person on that, so I'll talk to her
Yeah.
about
And that's
that.
why I said if that, because that could then fill in some more areas that we could look at.
I mean, if we take the time to define the categories that you said it's hard, there's so many, but if you have categories that say, academic, or moved as a category, or lost interest, like if you have those
Mhm.
categories defined and you share that with the sending districts, then they can make those allotments. These are the 3 that were applicable. This is the 2 that were applicable, and send that data. Then you have it, and you have it uniform to compare across.
we might even be able to do that in a digital way, maybe through a Google form or some type of way to capture that, so, it's a drop down, you're gonna select this, you can provide some additional information, but then that's another source that we're not collating that data manually from emails, and then I'm gonna put it in a spreadsheet. We need to streamline our processes as well. So if somebody processes that withdrawal, they hit submit. We're
Give a reason code.
exactly. They can always provide more information if they choose, but we can force it to fit into that silo so that we can build a plan to address any areas that are in our control.
So let's stop dwelling on the negative and go back to the positive here. We have 936 students, which
Yes.
is another record for enrollment, correct?
Yes.
Looking at for next year?
Slightly, last year, I think we started off at 938, and then about 910 showed up. Because, and this is all new, because in the past, we wouldn't know who's showing up, and we hope that there's not students showing up. But I also look at it as an opportunity. We have a new law enforcement class, chief of police that has taught 20, classes for the community college. Machine still has spots. I think that's vital for our economic and national security, perspective. So I'd like to still see us not stop providing options for students, or you maybe create opportunities. Mr. Chancellor went to one of the school districts to promote his machining, because a lot of kids are not aware of it. We've been speaking about this for 2 years. One of the parents who maybe picked, I'm gonna say like auto tech and another program area that's hands-on, he said, come and take a look at the machine shop. Student fell in love with it, and the parent fell in love with it. So I'd like us not to stop, and I don't know if that's us as the tech school taking the lead. Since I was the acting and executive director, I know that student recruitment is at the top of our list, and it's a priority. And I know that we're balancing out those, working with those school districts. I'm not sure with the efforts, and when we meet with the assistant superintendents, when I meet with the superintendents, what are we doing now to the start of school? Last year, some districts said we're going to accept students up until October. Obviously, it's more difficult because of hazardous occupation, getting students in October, but we still have time to fill spots if needed. And I don't know if, when we meet with assistants, I don't know if you have any conversations with that from last year to this year as the point of contact. Is there any efforts during the summer to help fill some of those spots?
I can certainly reiterate that discussion and report out after we meet in September.
Well, and for future years too, especially with something like machining, I know in the past or still, we've had instructors visit middle schools and stuff, and I know, at least in Quakertown, we have the TSA. So these are kids building things, making those little race cars and robots and everything else. Machining probably would fit in, those are creators that are in TSA. So obviously moving into something like machining might be up there. So like, as far as recruitment goes, is that something we could get, the machining instructor or the welding instructor to visit?
They have it, absolutely. Yeah. One other statement, I want to thank Karen for joining us tonight. Out of the 937 students, we have 291 special ed students and 88 students with 504 plans. Some of these are still coming in as the year goes, Karen.
Well, this is everything that's come in and everything that I found initially on IEP Writer. On Monday, I'm still gonna go in and go through IEP Writer again, as those students have been added onto the roster recently, and check. I would anticipate there will be some more.
So for our exceptional students, we're at 40%, which has been pretty consistent, and those are students with IEPs and 504s.
And you do have access to their, like, you're only getting that now, or how does that work that you have access to the IEP
I
writer?
have access to IEP Writer. There's still a few students that have 504 plans and things like that were not renewed when they should have been last year, if they're out of date. That happens. And I know there's gonna be some things that have been added in
Okay.
that I'll have to go look for, but I'm gonna work on that Monday. These are just like the rough numbers starting point.
Sure.
I anticipate we'll find a lot more into this senior.
I just wanted to bring up one other thing, and I don't know, because again, we still have these spots available. And in mine, and like Kaufman, sorry, I just want to say for Penn Ridge, at least, and Bob's here now, but I would love, like, for us to go to Dave Thomas, who's our PR person, and have him be like, there's still time, we have these spots available for tech. Like, I would love if there could be a post. I don't know how we go about that. I don't know if that's something we have to get a majority. I have no idea. I would love if, like, Palisades and Quakertown, I don't know if do you guys have a PR person too that like does your post? So I would love if we could kind of do that too. I mean, you have these openings for a reason, and just putting it out there, because a lot of people, I think, just don't know. So as like I would love if we could do that as some sooner rather than later, but I don't know how we
Stacy
go
and I
about
will
that.
write a letter saying about what's available, what's not, the benefit for you to, if you feel fit, to distribute out to them. Sometimes it's a little difficult, like our counselors, Mrs. Weldon comes in, she gets hours. It's difficult during the summer because I'm not sure, do you know do we work with the counselors during the summer?
We do, but there's a lag. because not everybody's on the same schedule.
Right.
So, there was a situation with the Palisade student that started in July, but then people were on vacation, so things take a little bit longer during the summer, just because people may.
Dr. Friedman, do we have a cutoff date for when we'll stop accepting enrollments at because obviously they're busy building schedules
Right.
over there in high school.
That's a great question. I can ask administrator, I can ask the principal.
And I could share, if you write something up, with how many spots there are, I'll share it on social media, and like the parent groups and stuff like that, but I don't want to start sharing something and then say, nope, that door is closed already, so I want to make sure.
Yeah, we can do that, like, first, students and stuff like that, we can put that in there.
Okay.
But how many, I wanted to add, that situation that you mentioned with that student. Now, the assistant principal was the one who really handled that. Are the assistant principals from each of the sending schools included in your meetings when you're meeting with the principals in the back? Because they're the ones that really do.
That's up to each individual principal's decision. They came in June when we had our meeting
Did they?
because there were no students. It's much easier for people to get out.
Right, yeah.
But it's generally the principals. But that really was a collaborative effort. That had been going back and forth between multiple players, multiple parties. So
I know Rich was aware of what was going on, but, he and I don't even know if Rich was there at the time.
So at yesterday's meeting that we scheduled, Rich and I were both in the tabletop training. We left to jump on the IEP
Oh, did
meeting.
you? Okay, all right, good.
Or the team meeting, forgive me.
Okay.
Is that it, Mr. Poole, for the?
The induction plan has been updated. That was the second item. So that is reflective of, all the current changes to ensure that our induction plan meets all the requirements that are set by PDE. But we've had 2 great days of in-service. I don't know who was more tired, the new teachers or me, because it was an awful lot of talking, but we did some nice get to know you team building exercises, and then kind of did a first week of school boot camp, giving them as much information and the tools they need to be successful. We identified dates we're going to meet once a month and go over pertinent topics as well as upcoming events that they need to prepare for, like their first OAC meeting, recruiting at open house. If they're going to their first IEP meeting, we're going to pull in different people to really ensure that they're prepared. And then we created everything that we shared or talked about. We created a shared Google Drive so that it's kind of an archive. So all the presentations that were presented, all the handouts, all of the work instructions. How do I, submit a discipline entry? How do I make copies on the copier? All of that stuff will be
In the shared folder.
will be housed there for them.
And we have a mentorship program that
Yes.
starts, and the mentors are assigned to the new teachers.
Yeah.
We have some on the agenda tonight.
But it really is a collaborative effort. Like everybody has a role in new teacher induction. Some bigger than others, but those relationships are key. The mentor relationship is one of the most important relationships that we kind of prescribe. We're looking for somebody who was going to mesh on a personality basis, but also has, related content experience and pedagogical skills to really be a good mentor. So that's God bless. That's not a decision we take lightly.
Including Mrs. Cram, who took on the induction plan for an assignment, and so we appreciate her effort in putting that together. Excellent job by Mrs. Takula. We're excited about a great year. We appreciate it. And if that's it, we have some visitors. We'll let them get some of those.
Sorry, I just had one more
cheesesteaks.
thing.
Oh, sorry.
Because I wanted to ask Stacy to put on the calendar of events from Tech. It's the color coordinating, and this, again, I think would be great if we could just take back to the sending schools. I know they get a lot of stuff, but just like I keep speaking for Penridge, Dave Thomas does a great job, and it would be awesome when some of these dates come up, such as like on the 23rd for Skills USA Day. It'd be great to have like a post about that, just more to share. Like that's some of the stuff I feel like as a parent with young kids that could come into Tech, I was like, oh my gosh, that's cool. I didn't even realize they competed and they did stuff, and my kids love that. So I feel like that's just another thing to promote,
And the
so.
Google Calendar invites, Dr. Freeman had a great opportunity if you want to opt out, but we all know in today's day and age, we're crammed. So we're sending those Google Calendar invites to you, so as board members, you have them on the calendar. Excellent
I
idea.
apologize.
We don't know who has more, Chris Spear or
I
Dr.
pushed, I
Freeman.
pushed for it
He
too.
makes us
No, but I will say, and since Dr. Friedman's here for Quakertown, I know we have a new website and we're supposed to be working on a new shared calendar. So not all of these things, but maybe if on our shared calendar, we're gonna have like those fundraiser dinners for like the football thing and stuff like that. Some of these ones for the tech school get included on there as well, like that Red Robin fundraiser for the tech school.
Can we
Because there are
have this-
kids too,
Can we
so.
have this in a data file? Can you send it to? out to
I
the
sent
board
it
members?
yesterday.
Yeah, because that would be great. 'Cause
Yep.
then we can share it with people that we feel, you know.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
is.
It was attached.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, you said something about the new student orientation this spring. Do you do that? Is that?
We don't. Some schools do a new student orientation and don't do a parent information night in the fall. Some schools do the parent information night, no new student orientation. Some schools do both. But it was just an idea that if we're identifying that we're losing kids
Yeah,
after they've accepted before schools,
yeah,
and before July,
yeah.
we might need to do some onboarding with them.
Yeah, I think
That's just an
orientation
idea.
is-
There's no plan
Yeah.
for that because it's gonna be driven by data.
I like the idea of an orientation,
Yeah.
because then that gets them here, it gets them excited. They're excited when you do the open house, when you bring them in, they get all excited. That's in October. And by March, they're not so excited anymore. So that might really cut down on some of the kids' withdrawals. So
It could. And that's why we need to get more specificity in those withdrawal
Yeah.
reasons.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Good
This
stuff.
is a lot for you guys to put together, so
It's
we
a lot of
really
work,
appreciate it.
yeah.
No,
Definitely.
welcome.
Thank you. Okay, then I think that's everything for programs.
All right, then, we have 5 minutes before we hear the hammer. It's 15th Joint Operating Committee meeting of the Upper Bucks County Technical School. Please rise to salute our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you so much. And Tracy, could you call the roll for us, please? Here.
Here.
Mr. Spear,
Here.
Here.
Mr. Hallowell,
I am here.
Dr. Ott.
Yep.
Here. Mr. Shermer. Mr. Kaufman,
Here.
Mr. Kern,
Sharon Montane is here.
Dave, have you heard from Chuck? I'm gonna text him now, but.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Let's go to recognition and comments from the audience on any agenda items. Anybody have anything that they would like to share? Okay, thank you. And I don't believe we're having an executive. We didn't have an executive session and we're not having an executive session, so we can move on with our executive director's administrative reports.
Hey, we'd like to start off with two of our finest. One of them, Eric Foskiner, if you could please join me. Good seeing you. So Eric successfully represented our school at the Skills USA National Competition. Eric's jump from 8th place to 4th place in this highly competitive national competition is a testament to his perseverance and his culinary skills. His dedication to culinary excellence has been exemplary. You may see me cry during this because not only of Eric as a person, but as we've been treated to, his culinary skills are without peer. Eric, we want to thank you for all that you've done for UBCTS, setting the bar. Part of that expansion in the culinary program from 1 to 2 programs. We couldn't have asked for a better student and person. Congratulations, Eric. We went up to Rockville Filling Station. Equally, advisory committees, people that take and tutor our students are so valuable. John is a former graduate of our program, the community college, the apprentice program, if I remember correctly, and is already gearing, not that Eric could be replaced, but that next generation, next person, the next phase of Eric's legacy. John, you've been invaluable. We're so proud that you're part of our community. You know, if you wanted to say anything, thank you.
The biggest thing I want to say is Eric has come a long way since I've known him. And also with Chef Ott, Fortunato, and with the cooperative education program, it has really meant a lot to our restaurant and also to help bring back to the community. So.
I will tell you, me personally have gone to that restaurant because of not just Eric, but how you've helped this school, and I will continue to let other people know all the great things you do for the school and the great food that you have there.
Thank you very much.
Mom, would you like to say anything? We're so grateful that you sent.
You don't have.
Does he cook for you? Does he cook a nice things for you at home?
Oh, don't ask.
Okay, yep. Well,
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Not as often as I should, but
advisory committee always stays connected with the school. I appreciate it.
thank you. Of course I will.
Thank you. Come on up, please. So with great honor, Natalia secured a gold medal at the Skills USA National Competition, showcasing her excellent skills and dedication. This accomplishment brings great pride to Upper Bucks County Technical School as a gold medal winner. Dr. Friedman, in front of my desk, there's a gold medal that gets to the school. And we know how hard you work, Natalia, and we're grateful for you. And there's a theme, not only a great student, but a great person. She's just so wonderful to see. And it's those employability skills, the dedication that really is a testament to great instructors, a wonderful board who provides these opportunities, and our wonderful community members and parents that help to make us who we are. Natalia, I don't know if you want to say anything, but round of applause for Natalia.
I want to thank everybody who's helped me achieve the gold medal. Miss Nye, Chef Ott, everybody, Chef Penn, and Miss Reese, of course, who has helped me exponentially and has been to one, and I have to thank her for the reason that I have this gold medal.
Thanks, John.
I had asked her right before the meeting too, since she's going in, she's gonna be a senior this year, she has a chance to go back. She could be our first double medal winner, so.
You're on the agenda tonight too, right, for coming as a facilitator, and when I say teaching staff and our facilitators who constantly go out of the way, again, that makes us a very strong community, so thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to transition, and Elizabeth Balliet on our agenda tonight is going to talk about a Mark Francis Scholarship, a $50,000 donation from USLBM Holdings in Telford. Elizabeth, if you could please come on up. Elizabeth is, again, from USLBM, which is a nationwide building materials company. She's a proud 2005 Penridge graduate, grew up in Percy, is now raising her daughter in Sellersville. And the scholarship is going to help develop our construction. Steve and I had opportunities to meet with you, tour. Again, just super excited to be part of this community, and look forward to working very closely with you. Hopefully your daughter will be here soon in a couple of years, and her friends. And Elizabeth,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come and speak with you this evening. So as Michael mentioned, I am Elizabeth Balliet, a 2005 graduate of Penridge High School. So it did make it a little personal to make sure that we were able to keep it in my hometown. And so with me tonight, we actually have a couple of the members from our committee that we formed at Shelley Enterprises. So want to talk to you a little bit about the scholarship that Michael mentioned, kind of where it came from, what prompted it to be created. So first, I'd like to start with that definition of what a mentor is, right? It's an experienced and trusted advisor. So Sean Hitchbrook said that a mentor empowers a person to see the possible future and believe that it can be obtained. Some in life are fortunate enough to have a mentor that provides that type of support and that vision, and then helps you see what you can personally achieve. So Mark Francis was most recently the market president of the Pennsylvania divisions of USLBM Holdings. There's 3 of them in Pennsylvania. So Mark had worked for more than 40 years in the building materials world, was undoubtedly an unbelievable mentor to many. I was very blessed to have him as my mentor. And if I get emotional, I apologize in advance. On February 29th of this year, unfortunately, the Pennsylvania market did suffer a terrible loss with the passing of Mr. Francis. Dang it, I'm so sorry. It has been said that in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. So personally, this felt very much so like we were thrown into, thank you so much, that we were thrown into a very chaotic situation. You got 3 divisions coming together. Thank you. and you've now lost the leader that had this vision of what our market could really look like. Again, I want to point out, though, in the midst of all of this, there was absolutely an opportunity. And that is what we're obviously talking about tonight. Through this unimaginable loss, to honor him and also continue his legacy is really where the Mark Francis Scholarship Fund came from. So Mark's passion really was around leadership, hard work, the building materials field, and quite honestly, women in a predominantly male industry. It was undeniable. He fought for that every day. The other week, as Michael said, I had the honor of being able to tour the facility, which changed a little bit since I was here. It's, the offerings are a little bit different. The facility itself has obviously changed naturally as well. I was able to sit down with them and really review what we had hoped to achieve through this scholarship fund. And I am very much so excited, as I said, to be able to stand in front of you tonight to really discuss that in more detail. So through our partnership with the school, we do intend to award 2 graduating seniors each year, 1 male and 1 female, with a scholarship of $1,500 each. The intention of these funds is to either allow them to enter into the job market with the equipment or apparel needed to successfully and safely perform their roles, or if they wish to continue their education. Through the partnership with the instructors and also other leaders at the school, we do intend to select the recipients of these awards who have exhibited superior leadership qualities from the construction fields at the school. Prior to becoming the market president of Pennsylvania, Mark was the president of Shelley's. And I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but Shelley's Building Supply, a very local lumber and building materials company. He was a member of the Shelley's team as a location manager when Shelley's was acquired back in 2013 by our parent company, USLBM. And I think it's important to share that because he was from the Lehigh Valley most recently, and he did believe in giving back to our community, and that was a huge belief of his as well. Again, I say in the midst of chaos, there's also opportunity, and that's why I can stand before you tonight to tell you that we have the initial donation for our scholarship fund, more than $60,000. We will be having that check will be obviously sent over as soon as our parent company gets it to us. It's an accounting thing. I've got accounting here, finance with me here tonight. I blame her. It's her fault. I'm kidding, Tara. It is not her fault at all. She's been busting her butt to get it done. We have done some fundraising to raise over $35,000, and our parent company did make a donation of $25,000 to, again, bring that total to $60,000. We do plan to work with the school to see how we can also allot funds towards continuing to bring awareness not only to the school specifically in the construction field programs, but also how we can continue to partner through other programs as well. So we do intend to continue to actively fundraise and also make those contributions to that fund. So it's not just the 60 and we're out. We look at potentially raising that scholarship amount each year to again be able to give back to those graduating students. So that is.
Sorry, should they apply? Do they get nominated? How do the 2 seniors get chosen? What's that process look like?
So we would be looking for the teachers to be able to say that this is an individual that has really shown leadership qualities. That was something that Mark always said, there's not enough leaders in this world. There's not enough people who want the responsibility of what leadership actually means. It's not easy, right? And so you're not friends with everybody. And that's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. So really looking at the teachers to do that. We did talk about, do they write an essay? Do they submit an application? And I'll be honest with you. I can write one mean paper, but please don't put me like on the spot to do impromptu, what is it called? The acting where it's just like, off the cuff type of stuff. I don't do well with that. And so I know that that's true for other people as it comes to writing down who they are as a person. And so really leaning in on the instructors to be able to nominate those students.
And I'm very glad that you are, making the push to include non-traditional people in these construction fields, because that is something that we've been pushing here as well. And the question I had for you though is, When you said in the construction fields, I'm not exactly sure how far that goes. Is it, the construction, electrical?
Yes.
Does it go into welding as well, or?
Not at
No,
this time.
okay.
Not
I
at this
didn't-
time.
Yeah,
So
Okay.
it's general construction, masonry, electrical, there was carpentry and HVAC, yes.
metal.
So what a great community we live
Yeah.
in. That's unbelievable, and it means so much. And as we know more and more, the emphasis on the trades, the pride and the leadership that goes along with it, we can't take for nothing.
Absolutely.
A couple quick announcements. As we know, the check is being en route, but as our efforts to reduce the critical skills gap, we were awarded a check for $20,547,000 for successfully completing the national competition in work-based learning. Earlier this year, we talked about career launch, that's diversified occupations. We've had that on the books for about 10 years. A lot of times it was used for credit recovery. Re-engaging with Rachel Holler and the Bucks County Career Pathways, we believe we have a lot to offer. Coming off the success of that, working with Meyer-Briggs and World of Work and Dr. Friedman, super excited about expanding. I had some conversations with her, going to that meeting in September 18th. And I think bringing our success and giving those opportunities to more students in our communities is going to go a long way. Financial update, the lease, thank you, Mrs. Kukas, but the esthetician program netted us $17,500 for that lease. We're continually finding ways for adults to take the cost of the local taxpayer besides these donations. And so that money is coming in shortly. Academic and career integration. The Association for Career and Technical Education has a book for new and related the division, looking for best practices with academic integration. We submitted 2 of them. One of them is Universal Design for Learning, and the other one was Language as an Asset. Both of those are published in a national publication, again, showing Upper Bucks County Technical School leading the way. The gentleman that runs that has asked for me or a member of the staff to take on that publication moving forward. On the agenda tonight, you'll see some personnel moves, and again, we're looking to, if time is available, to give back to the national community and CTE. We signed 3 articulation agreements this summer: Bucks County Community College, Johnson College and the Vet Assisting Program, and Northampton Community College. Again, all of our programs, Ms. Pakula, have an opportunity for college credits. That's something we're very, very proud of, and we're constantly enhancing, because college tuition, we all know, is tough, right? And it used to be, do you have to pick college or career? No, we have them both here at the tech school. The Credential Engine is a group that they are doing a lot of work with industry recognized certifications. They asked me to join their task group, which I'm going to do, and that's going to allow us to better align our certifications and our different programs to strengthen and value our CTE programs with the evolving standards and student outcomes. We know that there's a national push for the skills first model, and we're big proponents of that. So I think that's going to be a big help. With me tonight is, I'd like to have Mr. O'Donnell talk. We had a excellent event with the police. Mr. O'Donnell was present, and we have Chief Tuttle and Chief Phelan here. Mr. Donald, did you want to say anything before we?
So this is the tabletop thread exercise,
Yeah,
right? It
we'll
was-
start the tabletop thread
Yeah,
exercise.
it was really nice to see how the commonality among the different groups that they represented and how they were working with each other independently, but with each other throughout that exercise, right? Establishing common language, establishing common understanding and assumptions, and really highlighting the need for effective communication and contact between the different areas to ensure that, if something were to happen, they can respond effectively, quickly, and safely. So I thought it was a great exercise.
And we thank you for Quakertown. Dr. Freeman participated, Penn Ridge, Quakertown. It's excellent communication, timely is of the essence. We work together. Chief Phelan is with us. I still call him chief, even though he's our new law enforcement officer. Chief, how many agencies and districts are involved with that? If you want to just add upon that.
Yeah, I just got some info today from the county. So we had 32 participants. This was our third year bringing together the administration, the local schools, with the tech school administration. We had the local state police, fire and EMS, county emergency managers, the 911 operators, along with the JOC director and the IU were all here. We progressed through several modules of various situations, how to manage them and communicate and deal with critical incidents, including threats to schools, social media rumors, suspicious items, evacuation, lockdown, reunification, logistics, and physical building security. The county got me some data back. They did a survey at the end of the program for determine some feedback on it. They measured time allocation, quality of the content, whether the objectives were clear, and quality of the handouts. And overall, we scored a 4.94 out of 5 on those. Great. So I think some of the feedback that was written in is even better. They said the networking was awesome. This is something that needs to continue. Do this again. They enjoyed meeting with experienced personnel and using real world examples. Suggestions for improvement were to mix up the groups of stakeholders. So we had the groups were broken down by school district and the law enforcement agency that they were grouped with. So the thought was mix it up next time. So you have somebody from Quakertown with somebody from Palisade with somebody from somewhere else. So then you're even including communication. Another suggestion was to add the small groups, ask the small groups to predict what the other groups how they might answer. To try and think, from their perspective, what's important for them, which I thought was great. I think the most important thing is 94% indicated that they are interested in attending a practical level exercise. So I think that gives us guidance for the future. I know Chief Tull and I have talked about this was kind of like the blueprint for the next level step, which would be a drill with staff down the road, reunification process, working all that out. So I thought it was great. Dr. Hare is always a supporter of bringing all these folks in and doing this. So thank you.
And thank you, Chief.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Chief Tuttle, if you could come on up too. So we wanted to bring to the attention, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about this too, Mr. O'Donnell.
I mean, if you want to intro it, and I can give my feedback on it. Or?
Yeah, sure. Chief Tuttle, and we are looking potentially to have a substation here for EMS. We met a little bit. We're glad to have Mr. O'Donnell here. If you want to share your feedback.
Yeah. So my basic understanding is, they're looking to potentially create a substation or an area of dispatch here at the school for EMS, right? So that would be the other side of the area that you're responsible for. So it provides potentially faster response time for the area they need to cover, but it also provides us with, there's an EMS here sometimes because, they're here while they're waiting to dispatch. And given the equipment and things that people are using here, and just the population of the area in general, this is probably one of the biggest population centers during the day in the area that they're patrolling. It kind of makes sense to potentially, offer this. So I'm looking at how is it worded? It's almost like an EMS version of an SRO capability, right? With the ability to integrate via the school, start to solicit feedback and inject into the different courses that are offered here, and to help recruit for EMS as well. So I said I think it's a great idea. I think we should, discuss it at the board level here. To me, it seems like it's win-win across the board. So,
Chief, do you want to talk a little bit more
Yeah,
about it?
what we're gonna do is we're looking to start off with baby steps. I can't promise you we're gonna have an ambulance up here every day of the week. In the beginning, right now, we've been doing it and running 2 ambulances out of our station in Plumsteadville. By moving them up here, like you said, it gives us a quicker response to a lot of the area. You also have the potential of severe injuries up here. Some of them we've already handled in the past, but it puts us here. We're hoping that as the demand grows, we can have the crew up here more and more until the point that it's almost every day of the week. With this, we're looking to be able to offer our assistance in helping with any of the classes, whether it's the law enforcement class and they have a first aid perspective or a CPR perspective of it, the nursing class, anything like that we could be putting our staff in to help tighten the bond. We have a great relationship. He's been wonderful with us with our drills and all, and we want to work that in there. We would also look at making this an opportunity for the students that might want to get into this field. We have a volunteer program. They could volunteer with it, and potentially we could set something up that if there's an ambulance call and they're out or they're eligible for co-op, they could ride out on the ambulance. By doing this, it would also give them the street credibility, because getting into EMS, normally you can't get hired until you get the experience, or you can't get the experience until you get into the position. By doing it this way, we're going to help facilitate that they could work right into the workforce, as well as maybe I could recruit some potential employees to our organization. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a win-win that way. It's the same type of thing that the police department has up here, where they use this office occasionally. That's what we're looking to do.
We're going to look at insurance. Stephen already began to look at that. If the board wants us to move forward, we'll look to develop an MOU. And I'm trying to think if there's no negatives. I just wanted to see if the board was okay with us moving forward with this.
No, I think it's a great idea. Just, do we have another space? I know
We're in the process. That's fine. This is a priority for us because this
Yeah.
helps strengthen our community.
Yeah, and do you need a garage space or anything?
If you had a empty bay at one of the shops, that would be great. If not, we'll work around it.
I'm just asking. I have no idea.
I have to come up with
Yeah.
some way, and it could be in the wintertime where we have to keep our drugs at a certain temperature instead of leaving the ambulance running all day long. We've already talked that we would need some sort of a shoreline extension cord that we provide. Just place to plug it in, and we'll put a ceramic heater in the ambulance as a potential cure for that problem. The drugs got to be kept at no less than 60 degrees. So in the middle of the winter time, if we're sitting here and not going out, it could be a problem. But we have ways around that.
I'm just, I just posed that question to our administration, and it sounds like they're working on it, so.
Yeah, we'll have everything,
Yeah.
everything done and all the cross. If the board's okay with it, we'll move forward with the MOU and have that ready for your review with
Is there
solicitor.
any negative?
None that I saw at this point.
Pardon?
Well, we're in
Oh,
the
yeah.
reports
Add that to
phase
the
now.
agenda.
Oh, it's not on the agenda?
No.
No, this is just discussion.
Oh, okay.
We never like to surprise the board.
I guess we have to get our MOU first.
Yes, yeah.
And one of the things, in case it comes up in one of your discussions, we do a couple of different ways of background checks on all of our staff. We're required by the state to do a fingerprint background check through the FBI. We do the state police criminal background check. We do the child abuse background check, and we do a Medicare background check. So they've been vetted all through that to be around children as well as the adults. So that's something that we would make sure that we provide that if you had a question about one of our staff members.
That would go to the HR person there. She'll know.
And as EMT, we know that you'll get college tuition if you're an RA. There's just a win-win with Homeland Security. We talked a little bit about expanding the law enforcement program. We already offer the EMR.
Buckstown Community College has now started up their paramedic program again as well. So this would be an opportunity to help feed the community college more students to go into this career. I mean, right now, especially during COVID, we lost a lot of staff. People just didn't want to deal with it. They got a different career. They retired, whatever, they got out of the field. So we're in the rebuilding process right now, trying to get more and more staff. These classes are just starting back up again. I think last year was the first year we started doing the MT classes again. And so we're hoping that we can get on that curve and help propel students through.
Well, and I think it probably aligns well with our healthcare curriculum as well.
Yes. So CTE builds stronger communities. Thank you, Chief Tuttle, for coming out, and we'll have a proposal for you next month.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Real quick, Senator Coleman's Senior Citizen Expo was very successful last year. We're looking at October 17th, save the date. We should have a Google Calendar invite. I'm sorry. Don't worry, that's okay. You always have my back, so that's good, that's okay. October 17th, and Reverse Trade Show with Bucks County Community College. We want to do something a little different. We'll have that in the October 18th, excuse me, and it'll be open to the public in the afternoon. I'll send you the flyers with that after. Z-Space, we presented at the PACTA conference, myself, Steve, Charlie, Stacy, we had some representatives that went out, and we're getting national publicity on our virtual AR. Years ago during COVID, we purchased it to prevent learning loss. Our staff members are using it. When you purchase equipment, you don't want it just sitting in the back, not used. We've showed how it's used. We're the leaders in it. You know, we don't want to just purchase it and then forget it, but we can assure you the money that you provide us is used well. And again, I'll show you some of the posts. Ben Peterson, it's an international company. He commented, everyone loved the videos from our students to our instructors. It went very well. Quick announcement, I'm very active with the Association Career and Technical Education. I was reappointed to their bylaws committee, representing over 25,000 members nationally. It's important that we continue to advocate, promote CTE, and I'm glad to be part of that committee to ensure that it addresses the needs of a wide-ranging membership. Couple fundraising and donations. Chef Ott, oh wow cow.
Yes, so next Monday night, we are having a Dine and Donate fundraiser at a Wow Cow over in Knoxville. As you may or may not have heard, we have the opportunity to travel to Italy next summer. US tours. I'm very, very excited. So we will be doing a number of Dine and Donates and different fundraisers all throughout this year to help offset the expense for some of our students.
And I just found out about this. Everything in the kitchen sink bingo fundraiser looks very exciting, right?
Yes, so that is a different fundraiser for a different cause. So we have the Jim Hay Memorial Culinary Scholarship that was started last year. Our first recipient was Alex Stiffen. Eric was our second recipient. And in order to continue to replenish the funds for each year, we're starting to work with the Berkshire Rotary on doing a bingo fundraiser. And that's going to be Sunday, October 6th from like 12 to 5-ish.
Although it's the same time as the Percy Festival, it's really,
Yes.
really.
We should be fine.
And the proceeds go to tech in general, or does it go
The proceeds are going to go to the scholarship.
okay.
Yes. For the culinary scholarship. So that's the bingo one. The other one is for Italy. All the Dine and Donates are for Italy.
Okay, got it.
Sorry.
Got it. Nope.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to Jones Machine Racing Products, who donated 374 pounds of aluminum bar stock drops. Keelersville, they are doing a ride on August 17th, weather permitting. Club ride registration and breakfast for purchase begins at 9. Kickstands up at 11. A complimentary lunch upon return back to the club. You should have a Google Calendar invite on that. Homecoming 250. We are working very closely with, it's the 250th anniversary of both the Marines and the Navy. and Philadelphia is the home of that. So what a wonderful opportunity. I'm proud to be part of this group that underscores the importance of CTE in strengthening not only our industrial base, but our nature's future. Fritz Rogi, who's a former vice admiral, said, Del Val manufacturers are critical to the submarine industrial base, and we can't grow to meet that national security imperative without collaboration with great CTE shipmates. Not school, I like he said shipmates, to produce the graduates who will launch careers with us. So in collaboration with General Dynamics Electric Boat, our machining and our welding programs are going to develop some parts. I think I had them here. I have it on the screen. I'm sorry. Just got to get in the habit of that. Pass it down this way. And it just shows in the CTE, our curriculum has to, and our teachers, if we just say, here's a print, they're going to give us the free materials. It doesn't take 6 months or a year. They're like, hey, can we do it? We're going to try it. So we're super excited about this. We know I reported it last month that submarine, especially nuclear, is very important, critical here in our country. And on a side note, I was invited to comment the future contested logistics. It's in New Jersey. They work with the Department of Defense and the Army. They invited myself and some teachers out because they are involved with manufacturing the next level of parts, etc. So they want us, Upper Bucks, to help get the message out, similar with the 250th anniversary, to the schools in Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey, to again, these real world experiences and applications. And they give a lot of donations. At the end of the year, it's a wonderful opportunity. So I'm looking to partner with them, and I'll provide the links and everything for you down the road. Three last things real quick. We hosted Bucks County Intermediate Unit here. They had the entire staff. It went very, very well. They do so much for Upper Bucks Tech School. It was glad to reciprocate. And I want to thank all of our staff for making them feel welcome. Constitution Day, we're looking to put something together for September 17th, working with our legislators, our law enforcement class. Judge Matt and I were talking about some mock trials, and again, save the date, September 17th for Constitution Day. And lastly, one of the things in the ACT book was using language as an asset. And I had the opportunity to be on a panel at the Seal of Biliteracy in Washington, D.C., where we brought together the Office of English Language Acquisition and the Office of Career Tech and Adult Ed. And we led the way. Not only did we show the value of credentialing students, like some of our students who are EL students or already have the ability to speak different languages, we're credentialing them in a legal defensible way. That means when they go to a job at St. Luke's, that they're going to be able to make more money. We found out that our students speak Turkish, Mandarin, Spanish. And so you're also going to see at the same time the Department of Defense, the National Security saying that that language is so valuable to have that and to be able to credential it. So we started as a little bit pilot. We're going to be working with the sending school districts to get them that seal of biliteracy, because it goes through the school districts, or we're going to look to do that here, because it gives them free college credits at the very least, but it gives them another tool in their toolbox. And I thank everyone for their.
Well, sorry, I wanted to ask a question back on the Constitution Day. Is that something that community comes out for? Or is that just within the building? And then how does it split between like AM, PM for students? What does that look like?
So we know that, I still believe it to be true, Dr. Freeman, if you receive federal monies, your school districts are supposed to do something for Constitution Day. It just became something that we reviewed, and we know how important it is with the 250th celebration, et cetera. So we're in the early stages, but I just wanted to present it to the board. And whether it's Judge Gambardella, Matt and I had some conversations about that. And it would probably be, if we can, AM and PM sessions. If anyone's interested in serving or helping me develop what that looks like, our students love the hands-on activities, flag raising, some patriotic, maybe to celebrate our emergency responders and our law enforcement and our military. Those are the thoughts that what I had as thoughts, but I'm welcome to take any suggestions or.
And Dr. Vera, I have a question for you too. There's actually something I got in the mail. I got a card from either Workforce Development or Economic Development. I can't remember which one, from Bucks County, that said you and Dr. Covell from Middle Bucks are going to be speaking to business owners.
And that gentleman right to the left of you is the one that's running.
And you always try to steal my comment.
He
just never shuts up.
You know what I was talking about.
No, really, and I'm you for today for Mike, the Bucks County Economic Development Corporation. I'm their executive director. It's been around since 1958. I'm going to have all 3 tech schools at our annual meeting on September 18th. First time it's ever been done in the county. I just thought it was time that the manufacturing force in Bucks County understands what's available to them from the standpoint of tech schools, employees, future employees. So far, we're having a real good response. It's going to be held on the 17th, the 18th of September at 8:30 in the morning at the Northampton Country Club. So it's kind of in the center of the county, so we can get everyone to locate there, but we have reached out through the DVRC with their mailing list and our mailing list and the chamber's mailing list to get people out to hear what the 3 tech schools have to offer. And I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and I look forward to hearing everything that you have to say, because I know you're going to outshine the other 3 tech schools.
Recently, we had the House committee hearing last year. Middle Bucks did that. So again, we lead the way here at Upper Bucks Tech School. Your leadership with that is important because again, we're all colleagues. We work together. Bucks County is very lucky to have 3 great technical schools because it's an economic imperative that we'll be able to recruit these companies and I thank you for your leadership and being able to participate in that, Mr. Foreman.
You're more than welcome. I think it's worthwhile. Look forward to a great meeting.
Thank you.
Are you golfing at the country club?
Yes. Right after.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rivera. That was great update. Like, our last meeting was in June. A lot's happened since then, right? I mean, it's only 2 months. And all these items that you're bringing forth to us, so you've had a busy summer.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We appreciate your leadership and the opportunity to guide these things that you did. We appreciate it.
You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the subcommittee reports. We don't have any facilities or finance, but Jim and Bob, do you have anything to say? Do we want to talk about? We're going to give the update
On the roof.
on the roof.
Sure.
The pictures.
Just, we have some figures. So
Yeah.
earlier today, Mr. Hallowell, who's always ready, willing, able to come, Tony, Casey Kohler, Charlie, Steve, and I met and got an update with the roof. And if you bear with me for 1 second.
This roof will be done before the kids get here.
Are you sure? Yeah.
You seem pretty positive.
Yeah.
Tell us because he already knows the answer.
So you're the expert and stuff. First of all, before we even get to that, I don't know if you saw it, we've had so many community, the building inside and outside has never looked better. The day has been unbelievable, it's great, and we believe that the roof will be done. Most of the stuff where the smells and stuff like that, we have a couple of the outbuildings that need to get done. There's some slight work that needs to be done, some of the flashing, but it's not going to impact our students. Above construction technology, there's a little work, that's the only one, but in that particular case, that's where, you know, that masonry is part of their program, so it's not going to be a problem. Most importantly, at the end of this, the facility maintenance plan, making sure that 3 different types of roofs from the, when we had the expansion, this new roof and the 3rd roofs, that we have a plan to make sure it stays in warranty. And Tony's so organized, we're very lucky because, again, we don't want to run into the situation that they're not being taken care of. And that's a key component of it.
It's gonna be more than the roofs, but particularly the roofs of this kind. With the maintenance plan on everything, the whole facility. Air handlers, the windows, everything. We will get that. I was hoping we get that in the next couple of months, but we'll see.
Are we talking Site Logic?
Yes.
Okay.
We want to make sure that the school districts and the superintendents have our capital needs, especially, you know, ready to go. Steve, wanting to meet with the business administrators, myself with the superintendents, that to have that plan.
Well, I think that's vital for even the sending district's future planning for budgets. If there's a big capital project coming up here, you know, they certainly need to know that as well.
Yes.
We're not always gonna get lucky like we did with this roof where, you know, our surplus pretty much took care of it fully here, but eventually that's not always going to happen.
That's not luck, it's planned.
Well, okay. We're not always going to be able to plan that. How about that?
He was involved, so it had to work.
It did happen. You're right.
And he wouldn't be involved if it wasn't.
So Jim, you were up on, did you go up on the, who went up on the roof?
I'm not going on that.
Tony? did-
Who
went up on the roof? Tony went up on the roof?
Yeah, I was up there last week.
Okay, what were your thoughts?
It looked, again, I'm not a roofing expert, but it looked really good. We got the drone footage. Like I said, they're on schedule, but yeah, everything looks excellent. Wherever the students are gonna be at when they come back, that's all completed. Like I said, no smells, no tar is gonna be used. There will be a few outlying roofs and flashing that needs to be done, which will, you know, be completed the beginning of the school year, but it won't affect any of the students or where they're gonna be.
Funny, Quakertown has a large roofing project and we pretty much got the exact same report from them that the roof's gonna be complete.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a little bit of flashing to do once the students are back, but
Yeah,
And you're not gonna allow any rain or anything like that to, you know,
yeah,
for.
exactly.
It's all well protected.
Keep it nice, clean, white, it's gonna look beautiful.
He'll
We're
be
gonna be
out
up
there
there,
with the umbrella.
buffing it.
Right,
so-
right, yeah.
Running back and forth.
All of us.
I do like the choice of the white roof though. for the
Okay.
reflective.
Up on there.
There you
Yeah.
go. Oh, that's
That's
nice.
cool.
Clean.
So,
Yeah.
so Casey came,
Mhm.
he actually came out and he do like an inspection or?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, he's been at it quite a few times.
okay.
And Garland's been great. Garland's been here. They're also, I was telling Mike earlier, the guy from Garland, Ron, keeps me in the loop on all the warranty work for this part of the building. We have a couple spots we need to repair, minor leaks, and they've been on it. So Garland's been great too.
And now you have a PM plan to make sure the scuppers are cleaned and all
Yep.
those maintenance things are done to keep us in the warranty as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Garland's gonna provide the maintenance schedule and provide like what should be done, and then when everything's done, we're gonna walk through everything. But yeah, we should know exactly what needs to be done,
So by
this
our
roof
next meeting-
and the other roof.
By our facilities meeting, we should have everything
Not a
done.
little more information yet. That was the first week of September.
September 5th.
And I almost think that worked out well too, having Garland doing both projects, so both warranties are covered by the same, you have the same reps that you talked to.
Exactly, yeah, it's really.
And they're a good company.
Yeah.
Mhm.
they work very good.
And Juan has been an excellent
Yeah.
person. You have developed good relationships with them, so.
Yeah, Juan's been really good with this project.
Thanks, Mike, for pulling that all together, because we have a very large check that's going to be written, and I just felt that we should have a good update on things like that. So thank you. Thanks so much for doing that. On the finance side, anything?
I gave all the reports from June, July, but you're right. First and foremost, the two big payments to SiteLogic for the roof, which again, I think we all feel is on pace and to do the money that for the progress made. I attached the reports for 23, 24. Obviously, we did better than anticipated, just on the revenue side. If you look at those reports, we came in at a little less than 11.8 million. The budget was 11.1. So a lot of those line items came in higher than we anticipated, like first one, interest. We budgeted 6,000, we got 115,000. So 109,000 more than we anticipated, so that's great. We'll get subsidy. That came in 345,000 more, and again, that was partly due to the state budget so out of whack last year. No one knew what we were getting until actually months ago in May, so it was all finalized. And then that will, carry through as we plan for the 25-26 year. We got a lot of equipment grants, so that raised that 11.1 is 11.8. You see the expense side, it starts about 10.8, but there was 300,000 encumbrances. There's going to be salary accruals and other expenses that have to be coded back to June. So that number, although it looks low now, it's going to change as we go through the next few months in the audit. But the good news is the budget you planned for was a deficit to balance the budget. We're going to have a surplus. So that's
awesome.
bottom line. Great.
Good job. That's all. Thank you. And it sounds like we're going to be way ahead of the game for the audit.
That's right. Yeah, the motion for tonight.
Did that for you, Jim.
Everyone's benefit. We've had the vacant position, which I'm confident we'll be able to have a name in September to fill that. But between now and then, just have some services to help get the audit up and running and finished out in a timely fashion. Our goal would be October 31st, to have it all done. So that's, but with your help and support for that motion, just to get someone on site here for, as many hours as it takes just for the audit stuff. Nothing else but that, with the person in place in September.
So I had a question then. Do you have meetings scheduled with the other business administrators from the sending districts yet?
Not as of today, but that, as Dr. Herb mentioned, this is with this long-term facility plan. We want to get ahead of it, all this stuff, so as we get through the fall and the budget cycle, so they don't, the three counterparts know what's up and coming for your budgets. Because it all starts. We've been doing that every month. You're always building a budget.
I know one of the suggestions for our articles subcommittee was going to be to enshrine that in the articles that these meetings are scheduled. I don't necessarily think that needs to be done, but I do think, having 3 or 4 of these meetings throughout the year, especially closer to budget time, is a really good idea. And you're new, Lori's new over at Palisades. It's probably a good idea to just get together and.
Absolutely. Now, the more meetings, the better. You get it early and often, so it's not a big surprise come February, March, April.
And culinary, since both the instructors are here, loves it when you host the meetings here and they have to prepare
Our pleasure.
Always makes it easier. Yeah, no, thank you, Chris. That's a great idea to get more meetings, the better.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Bob, do you have anything to add on that?
No, I think.
So facilities and finance will be September 5th, the
Yes.
next meeting, and I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss then. Okay, policy, David.
Yeah, we met earlier this evening. We have 3 policies. Well, we had 3 policies for first reading. After discussing it, we decided we're going to hold off on 249 because there's additional changes that were suggested by PSBA. Their language changes around bullying, cyberbullying, based on the language updates that have just recently occurred. We want to make sure that we're kind of following PSBA guidance there. So we figured we could wait a month make those recommended changes, and we'll push that to the next policy meeting. The other two that are up for first reading were 323 and 351. Those policies are about tobacco, vaping products, and drug and substance abuse. Essentially, it's just changing the language to remove the name brand Juul to replace it with more generic terms for vaping devices. That's the only real changes in those policies. And then tonight, up for second reading and for approval, are the policy 121, which is field trips. There was some language added regarding international trips. 715 is up to be deleted. That's a policy about fax machines, which is a little dated. We don't really need that any longer. 805 and 805.2 are safety and security policies that have some PSBA recommended updates in language, with 805.2 being a new policy that specifies some of the roles that are required, some of the positions that are required to manage safety and security in the buildings, and roles and responsibilities for those. And finally, 807, which is opening exercises. Again, that's PSBA recommended language. There's a section being in there that's being added to the opening exercises to provide a stipulation for a moment of silence on September 11th. And again, that's following the PSBA guidelines.
That they're asking for a moment of silence.
Yes, that's going to be part of the, it's a policy, it's adding a moment of silence on September 11th.
That's that's new.
Well, it's policy, yes, it's 807, it's
It's
the
a new
opening ceremonies.
suggestion
Yes, so
from
that's the
PSBA.
language, that's the language update that's gone into 807.
Okay, interesting. Good. Thank you, David. I really appreciate you picking up the policies. I mean, that's really helpful to Dr. Vera too. He can sit quietly for a few minutes. So doing a good job. Thank you so much for that. Okay, let's move on to program.
Okay.
Jordan and Steve.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass that.
Busy there.
There's two on for tonight that we discussed earlier today, enrollment update and induction plans. So I'll pass over to Stacy. just to
Okay.
give a quick update.
So just a quick update, there were 378 students placed as new students, 50 students declined their seats, so we have 328 new students for the 24-25 school year, and total enrollment is 936. We started to dig into the withdrawal data. That spawned a fair amount of discussion, and we need to do a lot more work with that information to identify the differences between students who decline a place and withdraw after being placed. So we will, continue to work on that and bring back updates. And we reviewed the induction plan and the new teacher induction that occurred this week.
Wanted to thank you though for all the enrollment information, because I know you and Morgan have worked really hard and it's a lot of information to gather, and then enrollment keeps changing. So I understand that's a lot to take. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
For programs.
Very good. Thank you. Thanks to both of you. You're really working well together. I love it. Do a good job. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the Articles of Agreement Committee. I'm not on the committee per se, but I kind of facilitate it. And I hope you all received the emails that I had sent out regarding the upcoming meeting. And I believe Ms. Cram had sent out the articles, the actual articles, and also the Quakertown. Is that right, Tracy? We did send those out to all board members, so you should all have a copy of that. And so September 5th at 5 o'clock, we're going to be meeting. And I sent out the notes from the last meeting, which was what we covered. And then we'll start with, I think it was Article 3, is we identified all those articles, and Article 3 is where we'll start, and we'll just go for an hour, see how far we can get, and go from there. And I believe that covers all of the subcommittee. Any questions or comments or concerns on any of those? All right. Let's move on to our consent agenda. Can I have a motion? I'm going to combine items A through D. I'd like a motion to approve items A through D, and that would include, according to the agenda, the June minutes, the June and July financial reports, the June, July, and August bills payable, and D is the personnel recommendations. So if we could have a motion to move forward on that.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, thank you. Let's see if there are any comments or questions or concerns on any of those items.
So I did want to talk about the new hires. I thought you were actually going to do this one a little bit separately, so we had a chance to speak to some of these new hires. But I know, on here we have Chief Phelan, or do we now call you Mr. Phelan? Or, oh, he left. I wonder, do you hold
Chief,
that chief forever, like president?
I'm still calling him chief.
Okay, we'll still call him chief.
It's kind of like president.
And, we had some other,
I think from your perspective, you better call him chief.
he does know all the officers around here, so. And I think, maybe, we have the new, we have new hires here that maybe Dr. Herrera can speak about. Or...
Sure. Nicole Sickler is, we are looking to hire as the second ag tech teacher on that committee with Mr. Hallowell. I don't know if you want to start, Mr. Hallowell. I could read her bio off.
She's young, energetic, qualified. She's a farm kid. That's a plus. So.
A graduate of Del Val, degree in ag education. She was in FFA during high school. She has the highest FFA degree, which is the American FFA, which is only 2% received that degree. Practical experience as a substitute teacher at Salem County Vocational Technical School, where she revitalized a struggling ag program. I know the teachers there, when we were going to start our program, I reached out to them. So she comes with a pretty good school background. She did CTE events. She runs Highland Teal, a small Western boutique, which is showing the emphasis with the organizational and business skills, currently working with preschool children. And she's dedicated to inspiring and educating students and is thankful for this opportunity.
Okay. And then, Mr. Dietrich is resigning as well. Now, do we have an articulation agreement with Del Val for the Ag Tech program? So I guess it's good having an Del Val grad then as well.
Well, what's also as nice as she has 2 and soon to be 3 of the case programs. So
Okay.
those are specialized certificates which allow the articulation credits for our students. And I think we get a year grace period while she gets those other ones.
And then we have another new hire here, correct?
So on the board tonight is a couple, starting from the back, we have Mr. Reshitar as a facilitator. We're welcoming him. He's a Quakertown graduate and is involved with the food industry program. I don't know if would you like to say anything? Thanks for coming out tonight.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gavin. You may know my mom, Zara. She pops in and out of the building a lot. I'm very used to working with young people, and I'm very eager to start with everyone. I'm appreciative of this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dan Colin, who is with us tonight, thanks for coming. We're just going to go from right to left. But Dan is a distinguished educational leader with 19 years of experience in special ed, currently serving as the district supervisor of special ed in Emmaus High School, East Penn School District. He continues to drive innovative practices in educational programs. He's held various roles such as principal, director of special services, district director across New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and is recognized for securing over $375,000 in competitive grant awards for his educational initiatives. Has a background in CTE and placements and transitional. His accolades includes the 2019 Excellence in Education Award and the PAIU Emerging Special Ed Leader Award in 2017, with certificates in both states. Dr. Collin is a dedicated adjunct professor at multiple universities, contributing to his field through teaching and research. Did I get it all, Dr. Collins?
I'm just grateful. Whoever that guy is, you did a nice job.
Thank you. We appreciate it. And we have a restructuring, valuing 2 integral leaders during that interview process, realizing the support needed. And with us is Ms. Free, who's been invaluable for us at Upper Bucks County Technical School, proudly serving since 12/2/1997. Number 2 on the list. And you would never believe it.
After Craig Guest,
Yes.
and I'm going into year 34.
Wow.
34, but that passion, the excellence that she brings to the table is without peer. We are relying heavily on her ability to work with students. Excellent as a Palisades resident, her students recently attended. She has strong connections through all 3 school districts, 27 case managers. Is that number approximately
I
right?
think there could be more. I have to start at the end of every school year and go down the directories because your staff changes.
And her responsibilities is, we mentioned that 40% of students with exceptionalities are emerging EL population, and leadership and enrollment, retention, special ed, counseling support services. And your role as a literacy specialist is going to really help bridge the gap with, we have 32 staff members that are teachers, counselors, special ed specialists. Karen's number 2, but from 13 to 32 have been here for 5 years or less. We have a young staff, dynamic, very talented. So between Ms. Free and Mrs. Walk, who the accolades with the employability, her ability to engage employers and be an exceptional coach and mentor, we're very, very blessed to both bring in external and promote and develop the talent from within the building. And we thank the JOC for their consideration. Bottom line, it's going to help kids immensely, and we're thankful for your consideration. Did I miss anything, Mrs. Smith?
I think you've got it, but I also have a background as a reading specialist, so I bring that insight as well, and I've worked on previous statewide CTE efforts for academic integration standards.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Sorry, I brought all them up early.
You did.
You weren't in this part yet of the agenda, so. I jumped us ahead a little bit, but we're good.
Then when we get there.
You got your accolades a
We're
little
used to
early,
it,
so now
Chris.
you can leave early, so.
We're used to it, Chris. We understand. It happens.
All right.
So just point of clarification for what we're about to vote on, because not all of them are in. this.
That's right.
Can-
Yeah,
Can we,
yeah,
can
it
we
was a little
highlight
confusing.
Yeah.
what
Great
is in items A, B, C, and D, and what individuals that we just spoke about? Can we get clarification?
They're late, they.
I understand they're later,
Yeah.
but for the sake of everybody that might be listening or watching here,
Yeah,
not everybody we just talked to is about to get approved. They have
All
a
right.
section later.
Since I messed it up here, I'll read them all. A is the minutes from the May meeting, along with
the June,
Mr.
the
Shermer's
June meeting.
June meeting. Okay. You know why? I'm looking online. I should probably look at the
We
printed one.
probably should.
It's a little bit different here. And yeah,
Let me say, A is the June meeting, the June minutes from the June meeting, and B is the June and July financial reports. And then C is the June, July, and August bills payable. And by the way, before we go further, does anybody have any questions or comments on any of those? The bills payable, no, okay, then we can move on. The personnel recommendations, now Chris, you can read off the names of the ones that we're actually looking at that was on the attachment to the agenda. Thank you, David.
okay. So the ones on here now are for a substitute secretarial and healthcare specialist, a revised job description for the safety officer, teacher mentors, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wow, no, there's a bunch of them in here. So these are for the teacher mentor positions that we spoke earlier about in the program subcommittee. It is also resignation. And by the way, how I messed up here was I
Dave has a
somehow got
question.
into our last meeting here and looked at that attachment, which was exactly the same space. It was item D in the thing. That's how I got there. So this is also a resignation. And these are 2 resignations. Three resignations. I'm sorry. I can't read this on the fly. Okay. There we go.
Hard copy?
No. See, I have to read it too. It's Miss.
Does anybody have any questions on
Yes,
any?
does
of
anybody have any
these?
I
questions?
just
So I
want to
don't
make sure
have-
it's clear.
Okay.
I can do this. I just want to make
Go
sure
ahead.
it's very clear.
Yes.
It's a lot longer than I thought, and I don't have my
Let David
glasses.
take
So
it
there's
over.
the three resignations in the attachment. There's the new hire, the instructional facilitator, which is Gavin here, who we did speak to. There's the new hire instructional facilitator, Jenna. New hire instructional facilitator, Julia. The new hire agricultural and biotechnology science instructor, Nicole Sickler. There's the stipend for Karen Free and the stipend for Lisa Wong. That's what's in there. What isn't, and I probably just should have said this easier, was Dr. Cullen. He's not in there.
He's not in there. He is,
He's coming up later.
we're going to vote on him later, but
Correct.
I think that the stipends, I think, are what, but Dr. Pereira had explained that
Yep.
very thoroughly in his email, so I think everybody.
I
that's
just want to
where
make sure we're all clear on what we're voting on, because
That's
we did
where we
talk about a
come
bunch
to,
of things
yes.
outside that.
And just so you know, attachment D from June 20th meeting is exactly the same spot in the agenda, and that's what I was reading. For some reason, I was at the last meeting reading the exact same attachment that has the same header and the same attachment number. So I'm sorry for my mistake there.
Well, since Dr. Herrera had made that great explanation on his email, are there any questions regarding that particular issue? No, I don't think anybody got back to any of the written questions. So we're good with that? Good.
Yep.
Okay, we have the motions, we're seconded.
Yes.
Chris got his
Call the
stuff out of his system. Good. We can move on.
I got the wrong stuff out of my
Yeah,
system.
really?
You had a motion, we need to vote on it?
Can we vote? Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Vote carries 8-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay. Item E, can I have a motion to approve Dr. Kevin Reinold of Tri-Valley Primary Care in Quakertown, PA, to be the Upper Bucks County Tech School physician at a rate of $400 for the 24-25 school year?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Second, thank you. And any questions or comments on that? This is typical of every year, right?
Yes.
Okay, any questions or comments? No? All in favor? Any noes? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you. And moving on to item F. Now,
Motion to approve item F as written.
Second.
thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I was taking a
Are you
deep
sure
breath
you don't
there.
want to read the whole thing?
Well, Sharon told me I could cut it off, but thank you, David, for handling that. Okay, can I have a motion?
You have a
We
second?
have a
Motion.
motion. And second, all right, fantastic. Any questions or comments on that? All right, thank you, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Okay, item G. Can I have a motion to approve revised policies 121, 715, which is, we're going to delete it, and then 805, 805.2, which we're going to add, and 807 as distributed in June and recommended by the policy subcommittee, and which David gave us a very thorough explanation on. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? All right. Any questions? Better not, because he already gave us everything we need. Thank you, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, moving on to the vote carries 8-0, and item H is, could I have a motion to approve the proposed baking, culinary arts, and vet assisting clinic fee schedules for the 24-25 school year, which I believe that was attached to the agenda, correct? Motion
I'll make a motion.
and second.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on that?
I did have a quick question. I'm waiting for the document to load. Yeah, so the attachment for the culinary arts program. It's just, it just says cost of goods between 50% and 75%. So what does that mean? Is that materials to produce?
I'm not sure she heard what you
Yeah,
asked.
so the cost of the goods for us to make the product will be between 50 and 75%.
Of the final
Of
cost?
the final cost.
Okay, that's, I expected that, but I wasn't sure. That was it.
Okay, good. Any others? All right, thank you.
Motion.
You already have
Oh,
it.
yeah. Trying to move this thing on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. Item I. And I have a motion to approve the designation of the equipment listed as obsolete and approval for its sale or disposal. And then we have all of those items there, the
I'll second
99
that.
Dodge Ram, et cetera. Yeah, as listed on the agenda.
Correct.
Motion?
Got it.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay. Any questions or comments on that?
I know we're moving it along, but where will these be listed for sale? I'm thinking of my soon-to-be 16-year-old.
Probably next auction, but
Okay.
I would presume that these are probably really
Sorry, Bob, I
broken
know you
beyond
wanna kill me.
repair.
I know, but
I don't
that
think
he's
any of
going
them
into
are.
the auto tech, so
No.
it's like,
No, I think Tony
They're
pulled a
listed
few
on
of them
the-
out of the field.
oh, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Point of clarification, on this agenda is another auction where we listed a date, but you will have an opportunity to see everything at the September 5th meeting. Before it goes, we want to make sure it gets to the school districts and we follow our obsolete paperwork. And so you'll see that on September 5th, anything that gets auctioned or usability.
All those motorcycles are going too.
No, they're
not.
not.
One of that.
Not through this.
Yeah, not as part of this motion.
This is just those trucks.
Just to be clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. Item J, approve the memorandum of understanding between Upper Bucks County Tech School and the Bureau of Career and Technical Education for participation in the Bucks County Tech Bucks County Tech, is that education? BT?
Assistance program, it's the TAP program.
Is it?
This was the one that we held off last year because we didn't get the contract back from the state. So now that we've got the contract back for the state, we're guaranteed the Career Technical Distinguished School Leader, Dr. Thomas, and the NACI pretest and study guides. And the funding is available. We listed, Stacy and I, several other things such as Max teaching reading, coaching clinics, and pill classes to take full advantage of those resources.
Okay, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions on that?
So I look forward to hearing from Dr. Thomas again at a future meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, super. Okay, thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Moving on, vote carries 8-0, and moving on to item K, can I have a motion to approve the contracted services for a school social worker 2 days a week through the Bucks County Intermediate Unit for the 24-25 school year at a cost of $68,198, position to be paid through the PCCD mental health grant awarded to Upper Bucks County Tech School.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on that?
So I did have a question. Do you feel that this is enough time to have this person here 2 days a week? Do you only 2 days a week?
She was here 2 days a week last year, and she is an outstanding supplement to our guidance counselors. I also want to be mindful of the fact that the grant is for $70,000. So
They don't, yeah,
it only gets me 2 days.
so, but our students have this available to them as well from their sending districts.
Most, I believe all of your districts have a school social worker on staff.
And we set it up, she also meets with those social workers too, so there's coordination.
So this is not a new position, this is somebody who was here last year, that then this is just a different way to pay? for
Well,
the
no, they
position?
were here on a grant last year, but that
Okay.
grant ended, so
So
we,
this is a new grant?
yes,
So
the
it's not a
new
new
grant,
position, essentially, just, got it,
yes.
okay.
It's a new grant from
Different
a
money
different
pool.
funding agency.
Same funding
Oh, it is the
agency,
same,
but
okay.
the previous grant expired June 30th, 2024, so this is the current year grant.
Gotta apply for it every year or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what, I know you're gonna kill me, but what specifically, what do they do when they're here?
So she will meet with students and she will, she does not do any scheduling. So that falls
Right.
strictly on our counselors. But she will do some additional personal counseling. She'll make connections to resources. She is the in-house expert on McKinney-Vento students. So she is an additional.
When she meets with students, do the families know? that she's-
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so she has her own referral form that she will send to the families. She will communicate with them directly. Their communication is ongoing, and then she logs everything.
Perfect.
So I provide quarterly reports to PCCD on how many students she saw during that reporting period and the reasons for the intervention.
Let me ask, who does she report to? Does she report to the IU or does she report to the?
She is an IU employee, but I oversee her work. So if she has any questions or when she has to submit her reports, I'm the
You're
first
the
line of
point person.
contact for her.
Okay,
But she is an IU employee, so they are technically her supervisor.
so do they get the data?
The IU?
Yeah.
If they request it, I'm happy to share it with them. Yep, but they haven't requested it, so I'm
No.
simply keeping it with the.
So it's
PCC.
here.
It's proprietary and it's to the
Okay.
PCCD.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns on that? If not, let's go to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. So let's move on to, I'd like to combine items L, M, N, and O, unless there's someone that,
I have a question about item O.
about item O.
Yeah. That says approve the sale of obsolete equipment from the small engine technology program, and then you have approved the designation of the equipment listed in item I.
There's an auction date later.
Handle it differently.
Yes, there's two different options, Mr. Linden. The first one is our regular auction. This is specifically with Mr. Young's class. He's going to incorporate into his curriculum the live work. We previously approved municipal bid in October of 2021. And this helps him and his kids take the equipment in and then sell it out. The buyer pays a 9% fee, there's no cost to us.
Yeah, it's absolutely free.
It's not that, it's listing of the equipment. You don't list the equipment in here.
The motion is basically just to allow them to use the municipal program. It's not listing the equipment at this point. That'll come later when they get it.
But the public doesn't get a chance to see what you are approving.
Well, like I say, we're approving them to use the municipal system. What's being obsolete and auctioned off is not listed yet. That comes a little later.
Hasn't been determined yet.
Yes, it hasn't been decided what
But
equipment.
giving the approval first and then you're gonna list the
We're
equipment.
giving them an approval to use the program, but we're not specifically approving the equipment yet.
I'm sorry, Madam
Will that be
President,
done
if you,
separately?
Madam President, if you want to move this forward and call
We
for a
have to move
motion.
this forward, yeah. We need to,
Thank
we
you.
didn't have a motion. We need to have a motion
For L
for
through-
approval.
L
to
through O.
Move to continue on with L, M, N, and O, the items as they appear on the agenda.
Make the motion.
You make the motion. Second?
Yep.
Thank you. Now we can talk about the items on, and on the motions, and I believe O is covered. Are there any other comments or questions about any of the other items?
Can you satisfy Mr.?
No,
Maybe-
We'll get
we
it
can
cleared
I
up.
want to see the list.
There'll be a list before, take a one.
So just for point of clarification, in approving item O, the wording of it is not great because we're not approving the sale of equipment from the small engine technology program. We're approving the use of municipal.
Yes.
So I would actually like to see us change language there to make it very clear what we're approving. We're not approving any equipment being sold with approval of item O. We're approving the use of
Of that company.
of municipal service for future equipment sale in the small engine technology program, correct?
Yes.
So why don't you amend?
So can
I was gonna say, why don't you amend?
Who made the
this?
motion? They amend that.
I did. No, they don't have to amend it. I can move to amend it. We just have to
Well,
vote
the
on the
motion hasn't even been approved yet, has it?
No, it's
I
been
mean,
we didn't.
made in second.
Oh, it was, all
It
right,
was, yeah.
all right. Whoever made the motion can amend it to do L through N so that we can.
We can pull
you know,
that O out.
separately.
Okay, I'll amend it just to do L through N. Pull O out, yes.
So we need a second.
Second.
Jim, you seconded it?
No, no, Mr. O'Donnell.
Oh, David.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my second.
But we need a
And,
second.
and I'll agree to the amendment.
To the
Is that what it
amended
was?
second.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was withdrawal or amendment. I apologize.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
trying to get that done.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I will amend my second
Thank you.
to support items L, M,
Through
and N.
N, yes. Okay, so are there any questions or comments on items L through N as written in the agenda? Okay, can we vote? Can, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so L through N is 8-0.
Can I take a crack at the motion for L?
You may.
I would like to make a motion to approve the use of municipal for the small engine technology program to utilize in future obsolete equipment auctions.
Don't second yet. I was just gonna say, I think it's not just for small engine technology. We want to use municipal for the next full auction.
But
Is that right,
we're
Stephen?
dealing right now with the
No.
small engine.
Just deal with small
We could,
engines, you don't move
absolutely
it
could.
out.
Don't make it,
But this just for today,
Okay,
just for the small engine, but moving forward, if there's something that facilities that they think could yield.
well, that's why I was saying, why don't we just
How about I
approve
withdraw?
municipal?
I'm
Yeah.
going to withdraw my motion. I'll make a second motion. I'm going to make the motion to approve the use of municipal
For future.
for future auctions.
I'll second that motion. Yeah, that way we have bases covered.
okay.
Hold on a second, Tracy's
Yeah,
gotta
she has
catch
to
up.
write it down now.
Yeah. Got it?
Approve the use of municipal for future auctions.
For future public auctions, yes.
Future public options or
Now
future
you want
auctions?
Future auctions, just
Future
make it
auctions.
future.
Okay.
Okay,
Yep. Any
Yes.
comments or questions?
okay, now we're open for comments or questions. Nothing?
Okay with it.
Hearing none?
Are
No,
we
I
ready?
like the idea of incorporating it into the lessons as well. I think
And
it's.
who's second? They're talking, I can't hear.
I said I like the idea of us incorporating it into the programs for example,
For
small engine.
whatever, yeah, okay. All right, Mike, is that okay?
Yes, it is.
All right, great, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, vote carries 8-0. Okay, now we have item P, which is to approve an online public auction on Monday, September 23rd, 2024 at 6 PM to sell obsoleted equipment in person. Preview day is the Friday, September 20th, 2024. The online catalog will be open for 10 days leading up to 6 PM on September 23rd, 2024. Can I have a motion for that, please?
Motion.
Second.
Second, and are there any questions or comments on this? No? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. And see, this is why I never like to combine them. Learned a lesson tonight. Item number Q, can I have a motion to approve the 2-year agreement with Johnson Controls for the provision of equipment and services to be provided by Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP effective July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2026 for $15,954 per year.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second.
So Tony's not here now, or Charlie, but the same question has come up in Quakertown too, where I've said, these Johnson Controls contracts seem really, really expensive. I mean, this is one building for, $16,000 a year. And they're not really doing anything. This is just kind of their monitoring fees or whatever. It's very, very high. But as was told to me in Quakertown, you're sort of stuck with them because that's the equipment that's installed here. So you can't go anywhere else with this, so.
Yes, sir. When we did the renovations here, it was hoped and it was tried to not use Johnson equipment. So the stuff that was bid out and installed was not Johnson Controls.
Yeah.
Johnson later on, since then, has bought out those companies. They're all Johnson Controls. And I just,
Yeah, they really do get you with these monitoring, like this is.
But is anything that they have proprietary?
yes.
Yes.
Is that what they're,
Yes.
because I'm looking at it and like Simplex Controls is not a proprietary to Johnson.
So they weren't proprietary.
I mean, it could be that because they did buy out like 18 other. That might be why.
We're allowed to be released from the contract. We're starting off with this, and we're going to continue to ensure that this is the best application for us. But my understanding, Mr. Howell, we spoke with Tony.
That's what they told me, and you guys are supposed to look at it, make sure it's in the agreement.
That we
can
have
get out of
Johnson
it.
Control contract that we're able to be removed.
Yeah, if you want to forward that to us, make sure.
Glad you said it because I thought exactly.
Yeah, I mean, these are real, $16,000 a year for one building is a lot.
Especially if.
Well, what's your alternative?
Well,
That's it at the point.
no, there are alternatives.
But it's.
No, there absolutely are. I mean, the company I have, the small company, I think I pay a few $100s a year. I have
If
two
you have
buildings.
Johnson Controls in your building.
No, that's what I mean. If they actually are generic boxes and then anybody can do the monitoring off of them, then you can
It
shop
becomes
for whatever you
difficult
want.
because there's a lot that's proprietary and they have to like be able to get into it. But there are some systems, like the Simplex system, they should be able to take over monitoring from it.
Yeah.
But it could be that they have something proprietary that's stopping it. We're stuck with 16. It just seems like a lot.
Yeah.
You're protecting children.
No, all these
It's
are
not
is,
Fire control. I mean, it's
The clocks,
for the fire.
it's,
the intercoms, the fire control.
yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
doors.
I mean, like I said, I'm paying like
Yeah.
500, it's the same monitoring, it's the same everything else. It's just not that cost that you're getting when you have a monopoly company like that.
Can we,
That's why.
Can we move
can
on?
we move on? and
Charlie,
vote?
Well, let's go, because we're not changing Johnson Controls. That's for
We
sure.
really need to get the thing up and running.
Yeah,
properly,
no, I am.
And then get out of it
Yeah.
when we can and need to.
Okay, we're going to move on and vote.
Yep.
Can we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, thank you, and vote carries 8-0. Okay, now we're moving on to item 8A, and can I have a motion to appoint Dr. Daniel Cullen as the Assistant Director of Student Services of the Upper Bucks County Technical School for a 3-year term effective upon the release from his current employer, according to the terms of the agreement. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Second it?
I'll second.
After tonight and him sitting through this meeting. he must say,
This is a very long meeting. We're sorry here. They're not usually this long.
Wow, okay. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Sounds like a good candidate, and have him on board.
Yes.
To be on board.
All right. Can we go to vote? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Whew, vote carries 8-0. Okay, we're moving on to item
Thank
9.
Now you're welcome.
Yes.
Now welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. We're really glad to have you here tonight, and sorry to put you through this, but you know what? If you can get through tonight, you can get through anything. And we'll move on to 9, item A under 9, which is the guaranteed energy savings agreement payments. Can I group
You can
those
go A and B,
together?
yeah.
Can I do those together? Okay, so we're gonna do, can I have a motion to include A and B, the motion to approve payments to Site Logic in the amount of $832,799 for work related to the roof replacement project through the Guaranteed Energy Savings Project through June 30, 2024. And item B, which is a motion to approve payment to Site Logic in the amount of $285,803 for work related to the roof replacement project through the Guaranteed Energy Savings Project through July 31st, 2024. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments or concerns? We covered this pretty thoroughly previously, so are we ready to vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Vote carries 8-0. Moving on to item number 10A. Can I have a motion to approve the donation of funds from US LBM Holdings, Telford, PA, 18969 in the amount of $50,000 for the sole purpose of establishing a scholarship account in the name of Mark Francis, past president of US LBM Holdings. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
And second. Thank you. Any comments or questions or concerns? I mean, we covered.
She did say 60,000. Or I think she said
She
35,
did.
25. Is that the accurate number or 60 or 50?
It was supposed to be 50, but I think they ended up getting more money than what, I mean, I don't think you knew it was 60.
So
tonight.
Well, then you need to amend this.
Well, no, do we need to?
No,
Because
you
we don't know
really
the
don't.
exact account.
Because it's,
You don't
it's a
know.
floating amount, it's gonna go up.
It's gonna go up and down as more donations come in, so.
You're accepting at least 50,000. So.
Okay. Or more.
Or more.
Or less.
Okay.
I don't think less.
If we can at 50,000 or more. Are we okay? Any other comments, questions, concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Better not. Vote carries 8-0. Moving on to 11 and 11A. Can I have a motion to approve the establishment of UBCTS Mark Francis Scholarship account with Penn Community Bank?
Motion. I'll second.
Okay.
Question for Steve. Is this subjected to the same interest rates we get on all of our other accounts then, or
We'll
since
make
it's a
sure,
new?
yeah, it would absolutely make no sense if they did not. So we'll hold them to the 4.5%.
Okay, perfect. So
Will
again,
this
that-
work sort of like an endowment? Kind of,
Basic
you know,
ways,
it'll
yeah.
be in there and,
Well,
Just sits there.
yeah.
and money could be
Like
added to it as
Yeah.
well, so.
Right.
But I think from what you mentioned, there will be money added. That's the whole
Yeah.
goal, to keep it perpetuated through time. As they increase the amounts and things like that, because it sounds like it grew obviously from.
Yeah.
Remember the months ago, it was gonna be 50. All of a sudden now it's 60 and
Yeah.
they keep growing, so.
Super.
it'll
All
be a
right.
Nice account.
Anything else? Can we vote?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. And moving to 12A, can I have a motion to approve the proposal from EDM to provide business office support services at the rate of $55 per hour for a maximum of 180 hours or $9,900? Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
So
Second it. And Steve, this is
for what you had talked about
Yeah,
earlier.
just the audit help, that's all.
Yeah.
And, you know, yeah, we want to make that sure it's done on a timely basis. And again, this firm has worked well with Carl Hogan, our auditor before, so it's a good mix.
Excellent. Any questions, any other questions or concerns on that? Then can we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. And we'll move to 13A, and that is the proposal for compressor removal and installation. So can I have a motion to approve the proposal from Remco Inc. for the labor and material to remove 2 compressors and install 2 Bitzer compressors in the amount of $21,236.59.
Motion.
Second. All right. Any questions or comments?
I did have a quick question, but I see Tony's not here. I don't know if Steve or Mike. These Bitzer compressors, are they what we have? Are they what the
Yes.
other compressors are? So it's the same manufacturer?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And because we're doing them in pairs, everything's gonna be matched. We're not gonna end up with the same problem that we have now where we're replacing 2.5-year-old compressors, correct?
It's beneficial to place them both at the same time. And we went through some logic to make sure that they're engineered, that we wouldn't run into the same problem.
Okay, perfect.
Going with the 2-year-old, that's scrapping it?
Donating it to the HVAC.
Okay.
And see if they could use it.
So the HVAC class should be able to work on it, break it some more and then fix it.
Break the old one.
I just have, I want to put my check that on since it's not here. These are budgeted items, right? These are the things we were discussing back in June.
Well, actually, way back in February or March, when
Way back.
you talked about the compressor and the generator, they were not capital reserve items. They were going to be the general fund disrepair budget, which they are.
Right.
So that's where these funds will come from.
Okay. Good? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Vote carries 8-0. Item 14A, we're talking about the recognition and comment, we're talking about the recognition and comments from the audience. Are there any, we're finished with the consent agenda, and I thank you for your patience. And does anybody have any comments or any recognitions?
Forgive me if I don't want. to.
Yeah, I don't think you
Kimberly
should.
Hood, if you don't know. I'm Kimberly Hood, I'm one of the cause teachers. Just 2 comments, back with the social worker. There's instances, to give you an instance of how she's used here, or whoever it is. Student who family was evicted from their home, living in the car at this hotel one night, this hotel another night, with this family another night, trying to help that family get housing. A student with mental health issues who's trying to get counseling but can't get into a counselor somewhere. Like things like that. I know like those are 2 instances that I would referred. So it's just things like that. And the person who was here last year was very, very helpful and worked. Mrs. Welding is the guidance counselor for our program, and they worked hand in hand together and, you know, came up with some resolutions. There were some other things, but those are 2 examples that come to my mind right away. But just to give you an example of what that social worker is used for, I know they're used, you know, at the sending districts for some of the same things. So, you know, I've been here since 2000, and my husband has said numerous times, he works in the mental health field, that we need social workers in school. So he's happy that this has finally come to fruition after X number of years. So it's a really good thing. So I thank you for that support. And the other thing, and I'm gonna call him Chief Allen, like he was talking about was having an on-campus training. I know Mrs. Free was here, Mrs. Dios was here. I don't know, Mr. Hollowell, if you remember, I don't know if anybody else was here that long. But years ago, the state police pulled some new recruits and did training. I think it was like a Wednesday before Thanksgiving when most of the teachers took a flex day. And they did training. I know they used the machining classroom and one of the construction classrooms downstairs, I believe.
Yeah, I remember that too.
You were here, Mr. Gale?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
I was
so-
here the day they did it.
It was really great. I know I was supposed to have a flex day. I rescinded my flex day and I came because I was nosy and wanted to know what it was all about. And it was very cool and, you know, shooting the rubber bullets at each other. And these were like state troopers who were out of the academy, within like 2 to 3 years. I know they were under 5 years.
Rubber bullets, they were paintball.
Whatever they were.
They left some paint on the machines.
But it was really cool because it gave them insight on like how many hiding places there really are in a facility like this. And it was really good experience for us. And I know like the first training thing was in the machining classroom where there's those huge, big machines that they can hide behind. But then whenever they went over into, and I'm gonna call it the annex because we weren't connected at that point, they gave me the job of being the hysterical female running down the hall. So I'm running at one of the state troopers. He's in his riot gear and everything, and he's screaming at me and pointing a gun. And I finally had to stop and I'm like, what are you saying to me? Because I have no clue. And he was telling me to get down on the ground. But he was excited because the way I was coming at him, it like he hadn't experienced that before from a civilian, I guess, even though it was training, it still like unnerved him a little bit. And so talking through the mask and everything else, it was garbled to me. And then like, so I was like pleasantly shocked, I guess, I don't know, pleasantly, whatever. But be told that even though I wear this, they don't know that I'm not the shooter, and I'm gonna be expected to be face down on the ground, and I could be cuffed from behind too, because they're gonna cuff everybody as they go down to rule them out as the suspect. And I'm like, oh, so this means SWAT. So it was a really cool thing. So I hope they really do something like that. And I said something to him, he said the faculty would absolutely, I think it was eye-opening to me. You know, things like, I'm a teacher here, they know I'm, like, the Bedminster officers are in here, they know me, like, I'm right across from the office. But no, that doesn't mean squat. So I think it would be a really great exercise for them to come in to see all the hiding places that there are, and for us to see what would be expected of us, or what privileges we no longer have that in that moment, for lack of a better way to put it. What?
The ID in one piece?
Yes, the ID was in one piece, and look what somebody gave me, so I don't break it.
So, Ms. Kay, when I was asking about the social workers, it was less about whether or not we needed them and more about whether or not 2 days was enough.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah.
I just want to give some examples as to like how valuable that position is. Yeah, I don't know that 2 days is enough either, but I get them with the money, but so, thank you.
Anyone else? Yes?
Jumping on her whole thing with the state police, if they do that, they can't bring handcuffs, because I'll have a heart attack.
It was the plastic thing, whatever. Not the
Zip
plastic.
tie.
I don't.
That's even worse.
I was just gonna say, I think the zip tie.
No cases.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. And if there are no more, if there aren't any more comments or comments from the audience, let's move on to 15, which is the announcements. And we'll start with A, the Articles of Agreement Committee will meet September 5, 2024 at 5 p.m. here in the JOC boardroom, number 205 for JOC members, the administration and public attendance. And then item B, the next Facilities and Finance Committee meetings are scheduled for September 5th, 2024 at 6 p.m. following the articles meeting. And that's going to be here as well in the JOC boardroom number 205 for the JOC members, the administration and public attendance. And the next regular JOC board meeting is scheduled for September 19th, 2024 at 7 p.m. here in the JOC boardroom, 205 for JOC members and the administration and public attendance. So those are our upcoming announcements. And now I think we probably heard a lot of concerns. Maybe we can, if anybody have any concerns they would like to share, we'll go around the room. We'll start with Jordan. No? No?
No.
The only concern I have is
We're
that I
gonna
was
skip
reading
Jordan.
I knew we had. I was reading a report from 2 months ago.
How Chris over there? No? No?
Next time we start here, so like I said, my only concern is Chris is gonna have it.
Oh, very good. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Yes.
Aye.
Second it. All right. Thank you very much. Good meeting.